following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of KLAV.
The sport of radio control racing has swept the nation, and Vegas RC Raceway is proud to present the first radio show in the nation to cover this rapidly growing sensation. So, without further delay, your hosts Eric Flynn and the Big Shane bring you Radio Control Race Chat.
Hey there, I'm Eric.
And I'm the Big Shane.
And this is RC Race Chat. Before we get started here, if you'd like to call in and ask any questions, you can do so at 702-731-1230. If you're getting ready to leave your car and you want to catch us on the internet, you can do so from the Vegas RC Raceway website, which is the VRCR.com. You can stream us live there. You can also archive us, as well as iTunes. You can check us out there and be sure and leave a comment. It's always helpful, huh, Shane?
Yes.
Absolutely. Got to have
comments. We need the comments and views and opinions of everybody.
Absolutely. It sure helps, and it moves us up the rankings there in iTunes so we get noticed more. But we have a pretty chill show today. Everyone just got back from Battle at the Beach in Lake Havasu, so I'm pretty beat. I know Big Shane here is pretty beat.
Yeah, I'll be calm, cool, and collected.
That's right. So for those of you who were with us at Battle at the Beach, if you had any memories there you'd like to share, again, be sure and call in at 702-731-1230, or you have questions about how things went, don't hesitate. We're going to have Jeremy from RC Insider doing his new weekly segment here shortly. He'll be calling in. I'm looking forward to that, some race update.
That's pretty cool that we got Jeremy helping us out. I love RC Insider's coverage on all the events and stuff like that, and it's cool that he's now a part of our show.
Absolutely. It's a huge thing. And so now, from now on, when we come on, we'll be saying, brought to you by RCinsider.com, the Vegas RC Raceway. And right before we get going too deep in here, I want to thank Tim Clark from Proline. He was out there at Battle at the Beach, and I was a little short on tires there. I ate up my tires, and he really helped me out there, threw me a set of those new blockades, which coincidentally enough, we did a product review on. We'll be doing that at the end of the show.
Okay.
So it's pretty good there. A couple things here while we get into this. The shop is back open now. We were closed for Friday, Saturday, Sunday down at the Vegas RC Raceway, so we could bring everyone down to Battle at the Beach and have a good time. Shane was down there a couple days before us getting the track ready, and I can tell you, it was a whopper. What'd you think about that?
The track layout actually turned out just kind of like I planned in my head. And some people had some doubts in me, and which is totally understandable. I mean, that's their track. They usually know what's going on and what's happening. And I said, let me just work with this. Let me do my little thing, and let's see where it goes. And if you guys don't like it, we can change it up. I know we only got 2 days to get it done, but we could probably make adjustments to make it right if you guys don't like the way it is. And everything turned out wonderful. I mean, the layout itself was fast flowing. It had a crazy Talladega sweeper corner on it.
It did indeed.
And that part of the track was like, it was the signature of the track. That and the jump in front of the driver's stand.
It was huge.
Yeah, it wasn't really that huge. It was perfect. I don't know like how else to describe it, but the way that jump set you up for the corner and everything else, like
right.
Entering it and exiting it, you were able to get really whipped out on it. And it was fun. I think actually Ty Tessman did a 360 spin with four-wheel short course, and I've never ever seen that done before.
That's neat.
I've seen backflips and front flips and stuff like that, but this was a 360 spin, and I think he got full rotation on it. So
well, I actually had to race with him in 4x4 short course this weekend.
Awesome.
They ended up merging the experts and the sportsmen, which I raced sportsmen there. And that guy lets you know how bad you really are.
How'd you feel running with Ty? Because he is phenomenal. The kid is the new up and coming fast. He's going to be the fastest kid in the world. The way he drives his car and how smooth it is, it seems like it's effortless. And the car itself never gets upset when he's driving. It always seems smooth
within its
fluid.
boundaries.
Yeah. Just no erratic maneuvers.
Right. You know, when I was out there on the track when he was running, you know, it's the first qualifier. I think he got by me just barely where I was. He had lapped me, so I was back from him a bit.
Yeah, get behind him and try to follow.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that went over like the proverbial turd in the punch bowl.
Half a corner.
Yeah, about that far. But it's just watching the guy. He's graceful. He's a great driver. Later in the afternoon, my daughter won one of the raffle items, so I took it over and then he signed it for.
That's cool.
Which was super cool. But we're definitely going to get into this whole Battle at the Beach thing, including results later on in the show here. Moving on to a couple other intro things here. We're going to be picking up a second race day at the Vegas RC Raceway.
That's awesome. I can't wait till that happens.
The race program has gotten so big at the Vegas RC Raceway that we just need it now.
Yeah. There's probably some people that maybe can't come on the Saturdays that we race, and maybe they would love to race, but they're not able to make it on Saturdays,
Right.
So maybe another time during the week. I don't know what you have in mind. I know we kind of discussed it, but I'll let you go ahead and announce that. But I'm sure that there's people out there that want to race during the week, and not just on Saturdays. Maybe they can't show up.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, and that's the vibe that I was getting. Even though we're getting 10, 12, 13 heats of racing, there's still 30, 40 people that I hear on a weekly basis. You race on Saturdays, I work on Saturdays, I can't make it out there, so I have to make other plans. So we're going to do whatever it takes to accommodate these people. We want to try to be as accommodating as possible.
Sure, and then I know that I'm not around a lot on the weekends.
That is true.
So that gives me another day to get out there and to battle with some people too. Maybe I'm not there one weekend and I can show up, on a Thursday or something like that. So.
Right. And what's going to happen is during the next week and a half, when our patrons come into the track, on the sign-up sheet, there's going to be a section that says, we're picking up a second race day. What would you like it to be? And we're going to let our patrons decide what that race day is.
Yeah, let it be like a municipal vote, let it happen that way. Because then you might schedule a day to where you maybe picked the wrong day and everybody else wanted a different day. So
right.
So let them do that on the sign up sheet, and that will be able to tell you the outcome.
Right. Now I have a feeling that they're leaning towards Thursdays.
That
Tuesdays,
sounds like a pretty good day.
Yeah, it's nice. It's kind of spaced out in between.
Yeah.
We're not stepping on anyone's toes. I think it's a nice day for the race.
That's nice of you not to step on anybody's toes.
Hey, I try. I got heavy feet. Also, our new on-road program.
That's going to be cool.
This is huge.
It's a huge announcement.
It is indeed. Starting not this Sunday, but next Sunday, we are going to be racing on-road at the Vegas RC Raceway. 150 by 55 on-road. We'll be racing touring car, World GT, F1, a lot of this stuff. And I've kind of chosen Mike Kennedy without speaking to him. That he's going to come on down and lend me a hand here.
Well, he's the on-road guy. Him and, Mikey's been running that program at Hobbytown for forever.
Absolutely.
So I think if maybe you had both of their opinions on stuff, you guys will get it done.
Well, as you know, we like to do everything communal down there. I don't like to be the heavy hand of the law. I like to ask everyone, see what they think, and try to get it done there. And also coming up, besides the on-road program, and before I finish that, it'll be Sundays at 2. Because we open up at noon on Sundays, so you'll be able to come down at noon after you've had your brunch with your family or whatever the case may be. Bring your stuff on down, covered pits, so you're not baking in the heat or getting blown out in the wind, and then come out behind the Vegas RC Raceway, have a 7-foot elevated driver stand for on-road in Vegas, which is huge.
Now, that's something they don't have at Hobbytown. Usually you got to bring a stool or something, and it's just on flat ground there.
That is correct.
Yeah,
that is correct.
So to have a driver stand for an on-road track here in Vegas, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be neat. We're really gonna try to do a little something extra for people, because I know the on-road guys have really they've really waited and Chuck at Hobbytown and Mikey Hobbytown, they've done a fabulous job accommodating these people.
That's cool.
And so now we're giving them a separate opportunity. Not only can they race at Friday evenings there at Hobbytown, but now they can race Sundays at 2 o'clock.
And those maybe for the guys that couldn't get there on a Friday, now they can come down to your track and race on Sundays. So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
I might have to get a new car.
That's
a new
right.
on-road car
That's
now.
right. Expect you to.
Oh man.
Also, before we pick up with RC Insider here, our off-road track, we're going to be doing our 0.5 layout change probably Monday, Tuesday of this coming week. It's not a full tear out. It is our 0.5 change. The track is laid out perfectly from when you designed it last time, Shane, we're going to run it backwards. We're adding a couple doubles. We're changing some pipes around. It's going to be fast. It's going to be flowing. It's going to be fun.
That'd be cool. Like I actually, when nobody's here or late night, but right before you close, I like to run it backwards. Even the way that it is, it's a different challenge for me. And a past couple times I was able to get like the same lap times I I get going forward
That's
on
right.
it. So it's like a couple little changes here and there, and I think it would be pretty dialed in.
I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And moving on here, we have Jeremy from RC Insider. How you doing, bud?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Jeremy, what's up, Jeremy?
Looking forward to talking to you all week, bud. What's going on in the world of RC?
Oh man, well there's been lots of changes since we last talked. There's actually things I didn't even get to when I last spoke with you. Where would you like to go first?
I kind of figured, Jeremy, that you had some stuff that you really wanted to say, and we just didn't get to it. You almost need like a 5-hour show with you because you can keep it going and going and going. And
well.
That's cool.
Well, no, there's a few things I've been kind of burning on that I find very interesting. One is Ryan Lutz. He just continues to dominate 8-scale electric buggy and nitro 8-scale. I mean, that guy's pretty much all over the East Coast, West Coast. I mean, he came down last week here in Los Angeles at Revelation Raceway and won his Byron Fuels Western Cup. Adam Drake got second, and the world champ Cody King took third. Those guys were all in the same lap. But I mean, Ryan Lutz has just been on fire down here in 1/8 nitro buggy and electric buggy. I mean, you watch him, you see him. I mean, he always takes the show.
And not only that, like everything that guy does, he writes a report on it and puts it out there on the internet for everybody to read. He's very informative, awesome guy. Been in the sport for a really long time. I wish I got to go to that Byron's race. It just it coincided with the pro line race, and I actually didn't know that was happening until halfway through the build, and I was like, oh man. So
no, you know what, that came up on me too, and the reason being is to me I don't pay attention a lot to the Revelations schedule because they always have those same sponsored races on a yearly basis.
Yeah.
It's just they actually were smart this year to go 1-day races instead of 2-day races, and I think it actually is better for the crowd that they get out there on that Lomi track. But the reason why I bring up Ryan Lutz, in my opinion, and it's because he puts his news out there and lets everybody know where he's been racing every week, you kind of are able to stay in touch with one of the guys on the pro circuit, see what they're doing, and he makes sure I get the race reports, like what he's doing, where he's at, and he's fortunate to have his brother-in-law with him on the road to help him, with pictures and put updates on the internet throughout the weekend, plus be his pit guys. So, I mean, at the beginning of the year, everybody thought, he was crazy for signing that 10-year deal with Durango, and I think a lot of people wrote him off, and I actually have been working on a story about Ryan since the Gas Nationals, and he told me he's really got their equipment figured out. He's really happy right now. He's in a good place working with Billy Fisher to get things going, and he thinks he's going to see some bigger impressive wins coming down the pike here with the Durango equipment. Now, I haven't talked to him since I last saw him at the Electric Off-Road Nationals, but he stays pretty good in touch when my dad's at the NorCal tracks, and they talk a little bit and stuff. So,
well, I know that Durango stuff is actually I've got my hands on a couple different Durango vehicles. And the way that those things are built, they look really quality. Like their quality control is there, their parts are there. I mean, everything there. It just it
really
looks
top notch.
Yeah, it looks like a top notch car. Like from their 4-wheel. I haven't got to see the new 2-wheel buggy yet. We were kind of waiting on them to come in this week, and I was at a race, so I don't know, Eric, if they came in or not. Or
they will be in this week.
Okay, so I will be able to get my hands on testing with that thing.
On my honest opinion on the whole Durango product, and they don't advertise on my website, and I don't pimp them out completely unless I put the race reports on my website.
Yeah,
they've got a few good things I think going for them. Honestly, they've got Ryan Lutz on the U.S. team, they got Billy Fisher, and they got Travis Amesqua, running on the electric side.
Yeah, Travis has been running all the electric stuff with them.
He's with Mugen on the nitro side, but they've got 3 solid guys that can at least do top 5 finishes at these big races. And, I spoke with Jason Dearden via email. This was probably like 3 weeks ago. And, when you saw Elliott Boots defect and he's over at Kyosho and you see Renaud Savoya bail and go to X-Ray, you start to think, okay, these guys are all jumping ship, plus Taylor James leaves.
Yeah, it makes you worry on what's going on with their product.
Well, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
The first thing that comes up is, okay, paychecks aren't going out.
Sure.
And the teams kind of, okay, the results aren't coming in and, hey, product's not selling. And I look at it like I hear all the rumors through the racing mills, and it's like until these people tell me, that they're having these financial troubles, I don't put stock in it. I think right now there's just so many drivers out there. There's just so much. I mean, if you look at all the different manufacturers out there that are trying to compete for number one right now, every time you turn around, there's somebody coming out of the woodwork with a new car. And
if they don't have the right drivers, then they're not ever going to get on the podium. And that's pretty much what's selling their cars, I think.
Exactly. And and that brings me to my next point. I talked with Ron Hopkins today over at Works Engines. I don't know if you saw the news come out about Chad Bradley. He finally switched from OS Engines over to Works. He'd been with their fuel for 7 years, and I had a good 2-hour talk with Ron today on the phone, and he's a really nice guy. It's about the second time I've talked to him. I actually introduced myself to him when I was sitting down with Jeremy Courts at the Nationals, and Jeremy introduced me to his engine guy. And, Ron and I talked, and it's like, there is an engine war kind of like the tire war with AKA Proline.
Well, I heard there's 40 different engine manufacturers out there at the moment. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that there's 40 of them, and 5 years ago there was like 7.
Right.
So,
but here's the interesting tidbit I heard about the whole engine nightmare war, whatever's going on. The Italians have the edge right now because apparently anybody can buy these machines to build these engines. If you're looking for a fast, ready-to-run engine, something you can go to a hobby shop and get for like $150, $200. You don't really are going to compete with it, but you want it to run in like your Traxxas or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You can go get one of those China company knockoffs. But I mean, if you look at the companies that are the engines that are coming out of Italy right now, Ron Hopkins told me that they're at the forefront because they've been doing it solidly for the past several years. I mean, that's why Nova Rossi's been just on top for years with Lamberto Cagliari and the 8-scale on-road. I mean,
well, see, you're talking about a country that made a Ferrari. So
exactly. Well, but I mean, that's I'm seeing as the level that those guys take it to in Europe.
Yeah, their engineering is probably really extreme.
Right. Now Ron told me over here in U.S. they design what they want, and then they work with the company over in Italy that builds it, manufactures it, and then they just import the engines into the U.S. And he told me he's worked with certain guys for so many years, and it's paid off. And he told me some of the longest standing guys he's had on his team, are Chad and Jeremy Courts. That Chad's going on next year, going to be with him 10 years. I mean, that's unheard of in this business, dude. A guy stays with the company for 10 years.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing that he stuck with it that long, without giving up on him or them giving up on him.
Well, and the way Ron explains it to me, he's been around it for a long time, and he knows that, look, each company's going to come out with the latest and greatest, and people are going to go back and forth, and they're going to try different things. But he's been able to keep his rapport with his sponsored drivers, and right now he's got like a small team of about 25 guys, a couple A-namers like Chad and Jeremy, and then he's got some regional guys and some guys over in the Asias that run his product. And he basically told me that those guys stick with him during the down times, but they also have a lot of good times with their engines. And and I think that's what it really if Jeremy can win at the club level and during the week and make the A-mains at all these big races, he's doing what he needs to do, for the companies, I believe. And I think that's what's important to Works because he makes those buggy A-mains. And don't forget, he's only racing, maybe short course truck and maybe electric buggy, but some of these guys aren't running nitro truggy. They're only running 1 or 2 classes.
Yeah.
They're not competing in 5 classes. Like
that's like me this weekend. I tried to kill myself with.
You ran a ton of them.
A bunch of different. Classes.
And that's what the difference is. But that's kind of the interesting thing, And I talked to him mostly about Chad about making this engine switch, and I asked him, I go, what was the reason behind it? Was there a falling out with OS or? And he told me, he's like, you need to talk to Chad about that. He's like, I can't get into it, and I didn't want to press it on that front, but he just told me, look at how the contracts work. It goes from January to December, and he's made the switch
right before the beginning of the year.
Right, much, and I personally told Ron on the phone, and I thanked him for doing the phone call with me and giving me the information that I needed. But I mean, we can look at it from a perspective that Chad needs to make some changes. I mean, I personally think he's with A-Main and JQ Products, but I told Ron, I said, in my personal opinion, dude, the guy needs to switch cars. If he wants to restore back to his electrifying years that he had at the beginning with jamming, he's got to make change. The A-main part of it's great. I just don't think, that car that he's running suits him for what he needs to be, because there's been too many races, big ones, where he's not in that top 3 finish, and I know it kills him. I couldn't. You know what I'm saying, Shane? I mean,
yeah.
You're there, you see it on the weekends. I mean, there's no way that guy's happy with
also that,
those finishes.
But to leave a top name engine manufacturer and go to maybe not such a top name engine manufacturer, that's a big step. I know, like OS is on the top of their game, and a lot of people run their products. I do. And
things are changing so fast, though.
Yeah,
it's someone can be on top,
yep.
and just out of nowhere,
somebody else.
Boom!
Is on top. Yeah.
I mean, right out of the gates, they come in with a home run, and it seems like as the RC industry gets more established, as these companies become more mainstream, that these drivers can, stick around. They can do what they need, or they can hop. They can go somewhere where it fits them. Something works better for them than someone else. Doesn't necessarily mean where they left was bad.
Yeah.
Right.
But the grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah. I was getting chased down by an Alpha this weekend. And I heard this thing screaming down the back straightaway, and I was like, "What is in your car? Is that a Speed?" And John Gaines from Thunder Alley says, "No, it's an Alpha." And I was like, "Oh wow." I got an EB modded Ninja with, the right pipe, the right stuff, running the right fuel, and here's this thing screaming out of nowhere. And to come to find out it was an Alpha, I was amazed.
The last point I want to make on the whole works thing with Chad Bradley, when I was talking to Ron today about this, he was mentioning the factory with the different teams and stuff. He's like, there's only so many teams left right now that can even afford to keep a factory team. And you look around and see which guys are really 100% travel and which guys are getting and going to all the different races. And dude, if you count, you can put them all on like your total of 10 guys. There's about 10 guys that are consistently on the road.
There's really not that many. I mean, a lot of people out there think in this sport that there's, everybody's factory and they get a bunch of free stuff and they get paid. And actually, I mean, I don't know.
A lot of these guys spend a lot of money.
They spend a lot of money to be there, and not only that, but there's only, let's say there's 2 million people in America that probably play with RC cars. I would say maybe 100 of them, if that, are either paid.
Well,
or,
I mean, if you look at some of the guys that race for Losi and race for Losi Associated that are like 75% guys, one I can think of right now off the top of my head, Drew Muller, his dad Mike Muller, they were with Mugen last year. This year they switched and went to Losi.
I was sad.
And his dad sponsors my website, and his fire sprinkler system sponsors the website, and they are able to like send Drew to what races they need to go to, and they know which ones they need to go to, and they aren't worried if Losi's not picking up their tab because they're able to make it work, and they're dedicated to it. And to be honest with you, that's why the kid makes, the quarters, almost the semis at the Nationals, because he's on the track 2-3 times a week. And you kind of have to have that dedication if you're going to go that nitro route. You maybe don't have to do it on the electric side, but the more you're at the track, the better you're going to be.
Yeah, I always said RC car racing, to be at the top of your game, it's like paying tuition in college. You got you got to do your homework. You got to put in your time, and you got to pay your money to get there. And then maybe you get a job when you get out. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, exactly.
So that's where I think that's.
And today I spoke with Jason Rohn over at J Concepts, and he, I got to be honest with you guys, he really stepped in at the beginning of the year. Him and Allison really put RCinsider.com on the map here in the U.S. by being, the title sponsor for the website this year, and they notified me before the Fall Nationals that they're coming back again for 2012 to be at the top of my website, and it means a lot to have their presence on my website. But I had a good conversation with Jason today, and he told me he was really happy with Mayfield's Reedy Race Champions 4-wheel short course win. If you've been following Mayfield for the past year, he tore it up at the Cactus Classic.
Yes.
He got the 2-wheel short course win there. He went on to get his second national championship in 2-wheel short course in NorCal Hobbies this year. And then he finally picked up a 4-wheel, a big win with the 4-wheel, SC10. So I mean that's huge for
finally
those guys.
Somebody puts it on the map. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, the car's been out for a while, and a lot of people chose not to run it.
Have you heard anything about that, Jeremy? That's one thing that I've been curious about, because that's what I've been driving is the SC10 4x4. And I'll tell you what, I work the heck out of that thing, and it drives wonderfully. What's the scoop with that? Have you heard anything?
Well, this is what I heard that went down at the Electric Off-Road Nationals, and this is why I have issues with Roar. If you look at it, Jared Tebow ran 4 classes. Before the sign-ups, something happened there where guys were only told they could run 3 classes, and so Cav and Mayfield only signed up for 2-wheel, 4-wheel, and Cav went stadium truck, and J Concepts Mayfield went with 2-wheel short course, and they went 3. They didn't know that they could have done 4, but Mayfield had told me they would have run 4 had they known in time that they would have run four classes on that. But Cody Newmandahl was there, and I don't know if any of you guys know Cody, but he's in the invitational class for the Reedy Race of Champions this year. He's a factory J Concepts driver along with Team Associated, and Jason told me at that race at the Electric Off-Road Nationals he had the best SC10 cooking, and I'll tell you, man, I watched it going around the track. They did some work on it, and it was looking pretty fast.
Yeah, they're pretty beefy. They're durable. They seem to work pretty well. I mean, a lot of people run them at our local track, and I've been seeing them around events, and they're just a pretty hardcore truck. I mean,
at Battle of the Beach this weekend,
there was a lot of people running.
Right.
Everyone was running them.
It seemed like there was 40 entries of four-wheel drive short course, and that everybody was running that SC10.
But getting back to the word on those guys not wanting to run those trucks at the Electric Off-Road Nationals, that wasn't true. I actually talked to Mayfield and those guys at the races. They were how do you say? They felt like they were class strapped, where they could only do so many classes, and they wanted to run. At the time, what was running the best for them at that time.
Sure.
And it had nothing to do with them not wanting to run that class. They were going to do it. It's just that the rule at the time said 3 classes. And if you noticed last year, those guys only ran 3 classes.
Yeah, so, I was actually kind of wondering before that.
At the shootout.
Yeah, the hot rod shootout.
Right.
I was like, nobody's running 4-wheel drive, and this is the biggest thing on the market right now. Why aren't they promoting the product? Why didn't Team Associated step up and say, hey, you guys have to run this? And I don't understand why that didn't happen. I really don't know. I never really got.
In my personal opinion, I would have. This is just me how I would have done it. I get why Mayfield wanted to redo the 2-wheel short course. That's a big one to have because they won the inaugural one the year before in Joliet. So they wanted to go after it the second time around, and they can do tons of promos around that. I would have thought after this isn't being a World's Qualifier year in electrics, maybe Cavallari would have run that just to show that car off and run it. Because you think about it, he didn't have to run 2-wheel or 4-wheel this year. He's already the world champion, prior. Yeah. But that's just me from my perspective on it. But when you're running for those teams, it's all about wins, and they want wins, and that's how it's looked at. So, but if you think about it, what people were speculating wasn't true, because if those guys didn't want to run these vehicles, they wouldn't run them at the Reedy race either. But then it's sponsored by their companies, but they like running those cars. They've told me several times they work out really well. And I mean, you see it. Look. Ryan wasn't the TQ in 4-wheel short course. He was, I think, second on the pole. And Ryan Cavallari was the TQ in 4-wheel short course 3 race. And Ryan Mayfield went away and walked away with it. Yeah. So it was a good weekend for him, and it really puts J Concepts on the map when it comes to the high flow body and those hazard wheels, because they've got something where it's really working with those associated cars. Their products are just, I mean, by and large, if you look at the releases that company is putting out, they're releasing 3 different products a week, and that's by and large more than any other company.
They got a lot of stuff going out.
Yeah.
That's what I've noticed. There is a lot of stuff that they're putting out on the market, and that's pretty cool.
And it speaks to it that they have a race coming up this weekend in Louisiana, and they're bringing their big J Concepts truck down for that. So it's pretty good. So I mean they're they're always on the move and they're always doing different things. I don't know if you saw this, but it was at the top of my website today. They had those silent spur gears that just came out.
I saw that all over the front page, actually.
If you see that, I think the next thing that they're going to start dropping out around the holidays, because they got a bunch of new stuff. Jason told me today that they're going to have some more stuff coming out around the holidays. I would expect to see them coming out with some pinions if it wasn't me. He told me he's got a passion for building accessories and having intricate items to that's part of their company goals.
That's cool. Maybe they'll come out with some new products that no one's seen before, and that's just better for the industry. You know what I mean?
Now,
do I have time to do one more story?
Absolutely. You're good to go, Jeremy. What you got for us?
Well, I want to talk about Venom Group International. I don't know. I think I told you a little bit about this.
Yeah, I heard some rumors.
Shane.
I heard some rumors about that.
Well, here's the situation with those guys. I spoke to Keith Wallace, the director of sales and marketing, and in the middle of September, they slashed about 5 jobs in their corporate offices there in Idaho.
That's scary.
They lost their accounting, one of their 6-year employees in the accounting, an outside sales manager. They lost Rick McQuarrie, who did their graphics design, and he was like their internet social media guy, and Dylan Julian, who was the race team manager. And I guess he organized, where Venom products and displays go out to the different events and giveaways. That was his job, and taking care of all the team orders. They let those people go, and I had heard through the grapevine at the racetrack, Taylor Peterson was let go, who was running the new Venom Buggy and the Venom Gambler at the Electric Nationals NorCal Hobbies this year. And so I got in touch with Keith Wallace in the middle of the week. This is the first week of October. I haven't written anything on my website about this. I wanted to kind of talk about it with you guys first on the radio. It's kind of scary when you see employees let go. And I personally called those guys, and it was just there wasn't enough work in the office. It wasn't like they wanted to let these guys go, but the orders are coming in online, so there's not a lot of stuff to do in the office for these guys. So they made some job cuts. But the company, from what I've been hearing from Keith, is they're blowing and going. Their sales are doubling, possibly tripling, and their new batteries that are coming out are just flying off the shelves. So
I actually haven't seen a lot of their stuff going out there and being represented
right.
lately.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen it either. But I'm going off of word of what the company's telling me. I talked to Rick, and it costs money for these guys to go to these different events.
Different events, advertising, the marketing, the whole
thing. Taylor wasn't even a paid Venom employee driver. I think he was a rented driver just for that event, the Electric Off-Road Nationals. Okay. I mean, his big things with Mugen, which he had a great thing at Thunder Alley. I mean, look, those guys all parted on good terms, and I spoke to Rick and Dylan, Julian, those guys, because they do stuff with my website, and they shoot video clips with me at the different events that I go to,
sure,
so they can promote Venom products. And I looked at them as I thought they were like going to compete with like A-Main Hobbies and some of these other online outlets, because when they signed up to do advertising with me, I mean, they were blowing and going. I mean, as soon as they came into rcinsider.com, then I had Hobbico come in, and they're like, hey, we need to be on there if Venom's on there, and Great Plains Hobbico came in. So it's these companies are really looking for new ways of selling their products.
Sure.
But I think right now, I think there is a lull in some of these companies that if their products aren't in demand, that's why you see companies start to, well, you want to do job cuts, but you start to scale back a little bit, and you don't go to certain events, and you don't do certain things. And if you notice, a lot of these races nowadays, some of them don't have tons of giveaways at a lot of these races.
No,
and it's because
it's been tough to come up with sponsors and everything else. And I know that for a fact that you have to kind of have a predetermined race that's going to happen for the year. If you don't know that that's going to happen that year, then you might not get the handouts and the representation.
Yeah, you get the bottom of the barrel for sure.
Well, yeah, because they don't put that in their marketing, and in the beginning of the year,
they dole out all of their money.
Yeah, for
those events and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for their giveaways, their marketing, that's all in their budget. And then if you try to hit these people up in the middle of the year, then it's not there most of the time.
Hey,
it's been tipsy. So
when I was racing on the JBRL in 2006, 2007. Tons of companies they had tons of giveaways for Jimmy out at the races.
That's the hot times. Every economy was good. Everything was happening. New stuff in the sport,
And I'll be honest with you, people look to go to those races if they know they're going to get a good giveaway like a servo or something, or they're going to get a receiver or something. They're basically getting your entry fee back because
it's going to pay for
cost, and it makes it worth it. I mean, there was a year where I walked away from every race with at least a servo or a receiver, a battery pack, something that was like, hey, dude, this made it worth for me to drive 2 hours, to do it. Now,
right. Yeah, that's actually something that I saw this weekend at Battle at the Beach. I was very surprised. I didn't know what Jason Miller had in store for the entries and stuff like that. I know that he didn't get the T-shirts done, and that wasn't part of the plan. So, people were like, "Hey, where my shirt?" I said, "Well, you paid $30 for an entry fee. That's not part of the plan.
Right.
Usually with a shirt entry fee, it's somewhere around $70, $65, $55 to pay for the shirts." And not only that, but I saw his whole back of his truck completely full
of goodies
to give away. I mean, Proline helped out, Pro Match.
Yeah.
They all helped out with some giveaways for this race, and it was really good, and it put Havasu on the map.
Well, I can tell you one thing that we do here at the Vegas RC Raceway, and it kind of ties in with this.
You've been raffling off stuff.
Because I know, I see what goes on in this economy, and it's horrendous. Some of these people go a couple days without eating lunch so they can come down and race, and that's a fact.
Yeah,
it's true. It's so true.
It has to hit you in the heart. It really does. And if it doesn't, you're not a businessman that has your eye on what's going on.
And it's super cool that you help out like that. I mean, I've seen you give away batteries and
every weekend,
motors and all kinds of stuff.
And what I do is, when you win your class, you get the Vegas RC Raceway poker chip, which first off I think is pretty cool. Being Vegas, we have a little
awesome
poker chip, and it has your place on it, and then we have all the software in shop. So when you win,
you just print them right up.
The first, second, and third is on the front, but on the back it says your name and the
cool.
class you won
and
your pace.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. In addition to getting your entry fee back on a Vegas RC Raceway reloadable card, and you can load that thing up to $1,000. So if you wanted to, and you're running hot in the club races, kicking people's teeth in, you can get a whole new setup at the end of the season.
Cool.
Which is nice. And then
I need one of those cards.
I
don't have one.
You don't need one, pal.
I guess I'm not cool enough to have one of those.
You don't need
credit
one.
cards.
No way, Jose.
I'll run it up.
So
that's Eric. That's cool. You're doing that. I mean, and that's. I firmly believe local pro club racing can get back and become strong again in certain places if the club people know that they have something to look forward to when they come in every day. But where I'm at down here in Southern California, it just have certain guys.
Some people don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. They want the money. They don't really care if you're happy. If you're not happy, they don't care. Eric puts his heart out there for everybody.
And that's what I was going to finish with is, aside from getting your money back in entry fees and getting the little token, the poker chip that you can stick, we also do a raffle every race night. Not one raffle, but two for batteries, servos, speed controls, motors, tires.
Yeah.
I mean, good stuff. This isn't. Hey, here's your
So
servo
you pretty
horn.
much have everybody sign up. You collect their money, and then you give it right back to the lucky winner.
Yeah.
Like you don't make any money for the night, pretty much. That's pretty awesome for a guy to do that in this sport right now. Like nobody does that.
Eric, I have a question for you. We talked earlier in the day, and you told me that there was an up-and-comer out there at Lake Havasu this weekend. He did really well. Can you give me some information on him?
Absolutely.
You told me you were going to send me some information on it.
You know what? I did, and I got really, really tied up, but it's coming to you tonight, I promise. But his name is James Rashko. And
that kid's on fire.
This kid if he keeps up where he's going, this kid is the next pro.
Dedicated.
This kid comes down
Mom's
to the
dedicated.
shop. Yeah, with mom. Mom comes
Mona
down and
Mama.
runs. And he puts in lap after lap after lap. And Battle of the Beach was his first big race. And he went down there and just kicked people's teeth in. It was a great event. He, in the AAA mains, he won the first one, won the second one in mod buggy. In short course, the Sportsman Mod short course, he ended up taking the third spot podium there. So this kid is really giving it his all. He's already making plans to go to the next big races. I mean, this kid is going to be in the magazines if he keeps it up. And if he's listening, I'm proud of you, dude. You're really laying it down.
Right on, Jimmy.
Absolutely, Jimmy D. Now, Jeremy, here we've got to move you on here. Did you have any last bit of info how people can get to your website?
Absolutely, www.rcinsider.com. And just real quickly, I'm going to post that stuff up you were talking about on the website tomorrow. But also, we had cameras out at Speed World Raceway in Sacramento this weekend, and we have the podium picks coming up from the Golden West Nitro Challenge. Barry Baker, Mike Swager, Billy Bauman, and the whole merry band of Sacramento Nitro racers will be on the website tomorrow morning. So tune in for that and come back and log on and get your fix for on-road Nitro racing here in California. And we'll be out at the Sidewinder this weekend for Jimmy's race. You going to go out to that, Shane, by any chance?
I'm not going to that.
I'm not going to make
you're
that
not
one.
Going to the Sidewinder
I
this
need
year,
a
huh?
break at this point in time in my life.
He's pooped out.
Yeah, I got a the girlfriend at home, the 2-year-old, and another one on the way, and she is not happy with me at the moment. I'm sure she's listening, and she's like, he better not go. So unless enough people talk me into it, I might just have
there
to
you
go.
go.
But
Listen to
it's
this.
going to be hard for me. That's actually one of the furthest tracks away from me to go.
It is, yeah.
it is.
Sushi Hara's was there last week practicing, I guess, from Hot Body.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a wild race too. There's gonna be some international flavor coming.
That's
going to
be pretty cool, and I'm sorry that I'm missing that.
Yeah,
no worries.
everyone's definitely looking forward
Well,
to it.
right on, Jeremy. Thanks for giving us that report, and we're glad to hear from you, and we're glad to hear from you.
Yeah, we're going to talk to you
upcoming
next
shows.
week. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Jeremy, thank you so much
Thanks,
for
bud.
calling. And it looks like we have Jason Miller from Battle at the Beach, like Havasu RC Raceway on the phone. How you doing, Miller, what's going on, bud?
What's happening, guys?
What's happening?
Not too much.
What's the story of the week there, Miller?
We're looking forward to Wednesday night. I've been hearing everybody wanting to race. It's going to be a madhouse.
I know all
There's
your
so many-
locals down there are just on fire about that facility you got going on right now.
So many club racers that did not come down for Battle at the Beach are kicking themselves in the butt, and they're all wanting to come down Wednesday night. So it's going to be a late night, needless to say.
Why do you think they that some of those club racing guys didn't come down? What was the reason for that?
I think it's that a lot of those guys are just intimidated.
They're intimidated.
By
I know. A lot
the
of
size
times.
of race that I bring. I try and do this for our local guys because a lot of these guys they can't afford to go out to bigger races, and I put on these somewhat big races. I'm not going to call it a big race, but a little bit upper level race for people to come
pretty
down
big race
and
for
try
Havasu.
their hand. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we had 130 entries. So, to put that in comparison, the weekend before up at Hot Rod Hobbies, they had 156 or something like that for the Reedy race. So we're not that far off. And I think, everybody, I know everybody came down and checked out the track and watched some racing. And I know we got some video of stuff we're going to get over to Jeremy, and we're going to have some highlights and some results, which I actually have results we can go over here tonight. And then hopefully we can do a little race report on it and have it out by the end of the week. So,
well, that's awesome here. Well, why don't we do that? Why don't you
crack those off for us right
Why
now,
don't you go down the rankings? Why don't you do the top 5 in each class?
Okay, we'll start off with the novice 10 scale open because I know there was a lot. Novice 10 scale was a huge class.
Yeah, there was a bunch of kids in there. It was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And there was an A and a B main of novice.
That's cool.
So, obviously taking the win was Joey White. They got there late Friday night or early Saturday morning, I think. They didn't even get a chance to practice on the track, him and his dad and his brother. So, to go out there and take the win. And that one went all the way to the AAA mains. It was still up in the air when it was all said and done. Joey taking home the win by 1 point. Then Connor Bailey taking second. Crystal Hanlon got third. Lila missed out on third with Crystal. They tied for points. It went to the tiebreaker, which is time. So Lila ended up getting fourth on that. And then Matt Saracola taking home fifth. in the novice class.
She was heartbroken on that. They were crying all the way home.
That I'll tell you real quick. I know because we got to move through a lot of rankings here, Miller. But I don't know if you had a chance to catch this. But I was there for the first A main for the novice because my daughter Lila was there. She's the one that tied for third and took fourth. But the kids up on the driver's stand, I won't get in any names because I don't want children to get upset. But one of them started getting pretty emotional. And then it was like a domino effect.
Yeah, everyone was crying why they were driving.
Everyone up on the driver's stand was crying and asking for their parents, and it showed how much heart that they put into this.
A lot of them, it was their first big race, and to have their names called and a lot of people are watching them, they were just super overwhelmed, I think. And
absolutely,
it was cool.
It was good to see though that people take it serious. But all right, Miller, go ahead and move on with the other events.
Okay, so moving on, the next race was the Sportsman 17.5 short course. Matt Sampson, I believe he was from Vegas, correct?
Sampson,
that's right.
He took home the win, and that also went to the AAAs. That was a really close race between him and Scott Mango.
Sick lids.
Yeah,
that's right.
That was a really good race between those two, and then Zach Wilcox taking home third in that race, or in the AAA main tiebreaker, and then also Matt taking home the win in, I believe, Mod Short Course Sportsman.
That's correct.
Yeah, he did. He got it. He took the first and second race. Tim Clark from Proline taking home second overall. That was pretty cool to see him do that. Tim's pretty fast. Him and one of the guy that was calling the race all week, and Jeff Rowe, they go back a long ways. And, Tim's been racing for a long time, so he doesn't get a chance to come out and just play very often.
No, it was actually pretty cool to watch Tim wheel around the track there, especially one that we put together. Like, it was just cool to have him on the track. I know he puts a lot of, marketing and all this other stuff and promotions and all this other stuff together and never gets to race. And it was cool to actually have him and Ty Tessman out and a couple other people from Proline out there to actually race this weekend.
Yeah, it was
have
good
a good
stuff.
Time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so James Rashko, we were talking about him earlier. He took home third. So real close racing for the top three for sure. John Kellish is from Proline, taking home fourth, and then David Moore from Kingman, one of the few Kingman guys that came down to race, took home fifth. So that was a good class for that. We also had an A and a B main at Sportsman Mod Short Course. That was a fairly large class. And then moving on, which is the class that I had the most fun in with, and I know Shane was pretty disappointed at the end of the night, was Expert Mod Short Course.
Oh my gosh.
That class was just stressful for the entire 10 minutes of every of the three mains.
Sorry to make it so stressful for you there, Jason.
Oh, man.
And Jesse, when he didn't even have to be there to win. He wins by 0.4 of a second in the tiebreaker, and he wasn't there. Yeah. And I just wanted to battle him one more time. He had to leave, and I just wanted to battle with him one more time. You actually took the win in that last main there, and I have a video of that I'm going to be sending over to Jeremy, and hopefully he'll get that posted up for us. But
yeah, you and Tanner Steves were battling out pretty good at the end there. I can't wait to see that video because that was just back and forth, all three of us, the last 5 minutes of the race.
What were the results on that? What was the top five on that one?
Jesse Robinson got first. You got second. Big Shane got second. I got third. Jason Miller and Tanner Steves got fourth overall, and then Chris Miller got fifth in the top five for Mod Short Course.
That's cool.
It
was a battle. We were all like equally fast. Like we all had the same lap times, and it all came down to like the final 30 seconds of every race we had. It was crazy. It was crazy. I had a lot of fun with that class. More than usual. It was
the best one. So, and then full drive short course, Eric was talking about earlier how we had to split it up. There was only really a couple experts there. There was Ty Tesson and myself, and then one other guy that ran expert in the class, which was Paul McLean from here in Havasu. So we split the class up. We ran them all together, which was fun because a lot of the guys got a chance to run with Ty Tessman. And
he put on a clinic.
He did.
A clinic.
And I thought I was pretty fast with my 4x4, and I was blown away.
You couldn't keep up with him.
Yeah. He did. I mean, I could keep up with him for a lap or two.
That was it.
And then I would get, we would get tied up in some traffic, and he would get around it like he knew what the guy was going to do, and then I would just get slammed, and it was over. He was gone.
He's got mental telepathy.
Yeah, you can see what's coming.
Yeah.
So Ty Tessman took home the winning mod in expert. I got second, and then Paul got third, and then moving on to the sportsman side of it, Douglas Cottrell from Phoenix got first. And then Will Forrester from Havasu took home second, and John Kellis from Proline taking home third overall. Eric just missing that third place by a couple points.
Yeah, I heard about it.
So,
I have to tell you real quick, Miller. That was my first race in 15 years. So
wow.
So it was my debut back.
It was the debut back, and to miss it, oh my gosh, he was heartbroken over it. I think he was crying on the way home along with his daughter.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, I was glad because Lila missed it by 1, so it couldn't have gone any better. I missed it by 1. We were both even. And moving on, Miller, what do we got next on the standings?
Two-wheel drive sportsman buggy. James Rashko taking home the win in that one. He won first main and second main. He didn't need to run the third main, so good run for him. Scott Mango from Vegas taking home second, and Ian Sarbacker, another pro line driver, taking home third. So that was a pretty good couple races there. I saw that, with James not running the third one. I know there was a good battle between Mango and Ian in the last race, coming down to about 2 seconds at the finish. So in those two, it was separated by 1 point by the tiebreaker. And then after that, we did the two-wheel drive expert buggy, and I ran in that one. I was pretty disappointed, needless to say. I had TQ. I had the fastest car to beat all weekend. I just got the plus 8mm chassis from Associated on Thursday, so I had time to run practice on Friday with my old chassis, slap the new one on, and I can say what a difference that new setup has on that car. I think that is going to be a big game changer with that Associated car, especially on bigger outdoor tracks like what we have.
Yeah.
But moving on, 2-0 expert. My brother Chris Miller actually took home the win overall. Ty LeBaron from Vegas taking home second, and myself taking home third. So that was a really cool class to watch and to race in. I had the most fun with those cars.
That's cool.
And then we got 8-scale electric buggy afterwards. So expert went home to Big Chain. No big surprise there. We had Paul McLean from Havasu taking home second overall in the expert class. And I don't think we had any other experts running there. So Matt Sampson from Vegas took home the win in sportsman with Will Forrester second. And I believe Mango finishing third, correct?
That's cool.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, he got some hardware there. And then that moves us to 8-scale gas buggy. Douglas Cottrell took home the win in that, with Dave Gibson from Havasu taking home second, and Kenny Northern from Havasu taking home third. So that was a big surprise there. I know those guys were pretty jazzed. And then 8-scale gas buggy. Ty Tessman just dominated all weekend long. It was pretty close between him and Jesse at one point, but Jesse Robinson having all kinds of issues with his fuel tank. He would come into the pits, fuel up, and then as soon as he leaves the pits, he would flame out. So he was real frustrated, and I think that's why he called it a weekend. He just couldn't take it anymore with the letdown to the car. So and then third overall with me, with John Gaines from Thunder Alley taking fourth, and then Tanner Steve taking home fifth. Sportsman Truggy, Doug Cottrell, he wrapped up the weekend. I told him when we were all done, I was like, you're running expert next year, so don't plan on sandbagging in sportsman. He kind of laughed about that. Ivan Aguilera taking home second, and Dave Gibson taking home third overall. And then in expert Truggy, that was Jesse Robinson. No, hold on, I'm sorry. Tanner Steve. Tanner Steve took home the win in Truggy expert with Jesse Robinson second and Big Shane third. So that pretty much wraps up the results from Battle at the Beach.
Well, I can tell you, Miller, coming out there, we brought all the Vegas people out there. We took up the whole left side of the facility there, and everyone had a great time. I cannot express to you how much fun everyone had. It was a family experience, and all of us will definitely be back next year to come on down for the 2012 Battle of the Beach.
Cool.
Yeah, having Vegas there really made it the race.
It was fun. It was like the battle between Arizona and Nevada.
Yeah.
And I just want to get this out there real quick. I want to go ahead, Eric.
Oh no.
You had something to say?
No, you're good to go.
I just want to thank Tim Clark from Proline for coming down there and helping me out with the those new blockades that are out on the market. I got the TQ with the two-wheel short course, and I want to thank Bill from BCE Chassis with the new X3 chassis, and Dom. Dom was one of the best guys I've ever seen turn marshal in my life out there. And
Killer, great job.
That guy is awesome.
All right, well, hey, thank you, Miller, for calling in.
Thanks,
Battle at the
Jason.
Beach, we appreciate it.
Thanks, Jason.
And everyone, tune in next week for RC Race Chat. We're going to have a great show for you.
Yep, see you next week.
All righty, bye-bye.
Hey, Las Vegas, Dollar Loan Center is sponsoring the Oakland Raider games this season during the broadcast on KLAV. And for every touchdown that the Raiders score during the regular season, Dollar Loan Center will donate $100 to Las Vegas' favorite charity, Opportunity Village. Join your community short-term lender, Dollar Loan Center, and make an Opportunity Village donation today. Get more information on making your donation at OpportunityVillage.org or call Dollar Loan Center at 364-LOAN, and they'll help you out. Go Raiders!
Hello, this is Robert Bruner, and I am the Executive Director for the Las Vegas Rescue Mission.
And I'm John Fogel, the Director of Development.
Please join us every Wednesday at 2 p.m. for the Las Vegas Rescue Mission radio show, In Touch with Las Vegas. During our show, we will talk with many of our partners, sharing some of the stories of hardship and happiness when somebody has been given a second chance and made a turnaround. The Las Vegas Rescue Mission is a privately funded corporation that greatly appreciates your help. So listen every Wednesday at 2 p.m. right here at KLAV for In Touch with Las Vegas.
Hey there, lovebirds. This is Brian Mills for the Viva Las Vegas Wedding Show. Join me every Wednesday from 3 to 4 right here on KLAV as we talk all things weddings in Las Vegas. We have traditional weddings, Elvis weddings, theme weddings, receptions, helicopter weddings. That's all right here from 3 to 4 on KLAV. The Viva Las Vegas Wedding Show is brought to you by the Viva Las Vegas Wedding Chapel. Check out all their wedding packages on vivalasvegas.com.
Finally, you can get the truth about annuities. Whether you already own an annuity or are just considering an annuity, join Stan, the annuity man, and Jim Farish of the PerfectVariableAnnuity.com every Wednesday afternoon at 4. It's The Annuity Show, an hour of clear, transparent, straightforward talk about the world of annuities. The Annuity Show, a KLAV exclusive, Wednesday afternoon at 4.
Hi, I'm Kim.
And I'm Jill.
And we're the Sin City Spirit Seekers.
We have a show here on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m.
Be there or beware. Join us as we discuss all things paranormal.
Call in live to 731-1230 as we delve into the strange realm of the unknown.
Hi, I'm Renee, and this is my daughter,
Jessica, and we're estate liquidators and have a 12,000 square foot antique and collectible consignment store. And we're going to be on every other Thursday at 1 p.m. to talk about ways you can discover if the items you have been holding on to
are trash or treasure. In the meantime, you can visit our store at 1422 Western Avenue.
Not just Antique Smart, filled with some of the treasures we're talking about. So if you have any items or questions, you can call in during our show every other Thursday at 1 p.m.
Hi, this is Tiffany Rose Thomas. Join me and custom tattoo artist and local celebrity Jerry Thomas, owners of Lucky Cat Tattoo in Las Vegas. Every Friday night at 8 p.m., we will be bringing to you a fun show inspired by the excitement of the body art industry, custom tattoos, special guests, and more. Join Lucky Cat Tattoos Inc. session, hosted by myself, Tiffany Rose Thomas, and custom tattoo artist Jerry Thomas, every Friday night at 8 p.m. on KLAV.
Welcome to Conversations with Koji. We're in the atmosphere, baby, coming at you with great shows, heartwarming stories from our listeners, and a lot of celebrity guests that's hot on the scene right now. This is one show you all gonna love every Monday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. We're in the atmosphere, baby. Just hold on and keep the faith.
Hi, Koji. Me and my girls can't wait to hear your voice. This is one show we've been waiting for. We have a radio set for Conversations with Koji. Much love from your biggest fans.
Do you have kids that don't listen to you in the home where you almost want to pull your hair out as a parent? Do you have those teenagers you don't know what to do or how to get through to them and you're worried about them? Hi, my name is Matthew Cox with the Never Give Up Show every Tuesday from 4 to 5 p.m. The Never Give Up Show talks about those topics dealing with young kids all the way up to your teenagers and how to motivate them and put those values back in your home. It's parenting made simple on the Never Give Up Show every Tuesday at 4 p.m.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? This is Dwight Yoakam for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. When you celebrate, designate. Choose a designated driver.
A public service message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
I blame the vein for what we wear.
Love us on radio, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. We are KLAV 1230 AM.
You're listening to KLAV Las Vegas.